Gather round, everyone, make yourself comfortable. My name is Viktor, and you're listening to episode 123 of the Nordic Takedown. We are a weekly podcast about the Star Wars Unlimited card game. We have new episodes dropping every Friday, and this is number 123. Has it really been that long? Well, I guess. Today I have some really cool guests with me. Today's cast consists of Celine, Yessie Black. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And also Becca from the UK. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So you're both from some of my favorite teams. Celine, you're on the Two Moons team, and Becca, you're on the Inglorious Blasters team.
Yeah.
But I want to get to know you a little bit more and have our listeners get to know you a little bit more. We're going to dive into that. But the big point here is that you are two of the women that I know that are playing SWU on a competitive level. And I struggle to find that many more that I know. And that to me is weird. It makes no sense why playing cards would be a sausage fest, really. Now, that's something I would like to pick your brains on and see where you're landing on that. Let's begin with you, Celine. How did you come to Star Wars Unlimited? How do you find the game?
Well, my partner Edu is one of the owners of Two Moons, so they were hosting some of the early SWU weeklies and store showdowns, and I was just watching them play, and it looked really interesting from the beginning. I was previously playing Hearthstone, so the back and forth, play style is something that I used to know, and I really like. So it got me interested. I'm not, or I was not, the biggest Star Wars fan, so that's one thing that stopped me initially from playing the card game, because I was like, I'm not a Star Wars fan. I don't know the characters. But yeah, that changed in the last 2 years.
So, what were your first impressions of the game? What did you like about it?
It was really easy to get into. I think the play style, the game mechanics are easy to understand, but might be because I've already played some card games or like Hearthstone online, so that's why it was familiar. But I think it's not that difficult, because Edu also wanted me to learn Magic, and Magic, for once, it's a 30-year-old game. Are so many different cards, and just learning all the mechanics and card names, that felt so overwhelming. And with Star Wars being a new game, and at the time it was just a second set coming out, it felt much more doable, like getting into it and learning it along with the rest of the players.
So, what would you say are your favorite ways to interact with the game? What do you like about the game, and how do you play it mostly?
I play mostly in person. Well, currently online because of the TC preparation. We don't unfortunately have the cards, the physical cards of Ashes yet. But I prefer to play in person, talk with the community. I go to every weekly on Thursday at Zurich. And then on Sunday, I like to also join the draft if possible. So yeah, and of course the tournaments like Nexus Invitational, Sectors, Regionals, Planetaries. That's what I like most about the game, just meeting the community, playing some competitive games and having a good time afterwards.
How about you, Becca? How did you come to appreciate Star Wars Unlimited? How did you first find it?
So again, that's quite similar, really, because my partner really wanted to play Star Wars. Originally, he was playing Yu-Gi-Oh. Wanted me to get into Yu-Gi-Oh, and I'm don't come from a background of card games, and again, I'm not a big Star Wars fan, so I was never really going to get into Yu-Gi-Oh. There's too To me, I just looked at the cards. It's overwhelming. There's too much writing on the cards. But with Star Wars being a new game, you can learn it from the start. So that was quite easier for me to get into. But then we went to locals. My partner said this was something that we could do together. And I won the first locals. So I think that helped, because then I could get more into it. So we go to locals every week. We have two places that we alternate between going to locals, and we go to the PQs as well. So I think the community is what's been able to keep me so involved in it, going around, and it feels like you're kind of traveling the country with like this big group of people from everywhere, going to all these events. So it's the community that is the best part about Star Wars, really.
100% agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what you hear from everyone, isn't it? Like, it feels really good to be part of a community like this. How do you interact with the game normally?
I don't ever really play online. I feel like I can't really get my head around Carabas, to be honest. It's all happening too fast. I know it says it in the chat, but I just feel like I'm not really understanding what's happening. So I much prefer to play in person. We have we're doing weekly team testing. So we were doing that at our house. So my partner obviously plays as well. So we play a lot at the house, and then going out to events.
Yeah. How do you find going to big events?
I quite enjoy going to the bigger events.
We do have the biggest event of the year coming right up, and I happen to know that both of your teams are going to be well represented there. Are you going to the Galactics?
Yes,
Yes.
I'm going. I think three of our team are going.
Oh, yeah. So both of you are going, and you told me, and I kind of knew that a lot of your team is going. Yesi.
Yeah, exactly. Our whole competitive team, the 6 of our players are going, and then 3 more from the community as well.
So, what are you mostly looking forward to for the Galactics?
Just meeting all the people that I met for previous tournaments, at sectors, at regionals, from other countries. I met players in Southeast Asia, in Taiwan, and in Korea, and I know some of them are coming to GC, so I'm looking forward to seeing those guys again. Yeah, just having a good time with friends from the community. But then, of course, playing some games, drafting at a in a competitive setting. I've not done that before. So yeah, looking forward to that.
How about you, Becca?
I'm just really looking forward to being in Vegas in general. I just think that's going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
And like Jesse said, meeting all the people that you've met at all these other events before, I think it's going to be really good fun. I'm looking forward just to all like the little side events and all the other things that you can do as well. So yeah, I think it's going to be a really good time.
Are you just going for Galactics, or how did you sort of plan this trip? Is it a boot camp in Vegas beforehand, or just flying in the day before? What does your trip look like?
Ours has turned into a bit of a holiday, to be fair, as well. So, and then Galactics is in the middle of that holiday.
Just seeing the sights of Vegas when you're going over there.
Yeah, because I think from us it's about a 10-hour flight, so we just wanted to make the most of it.
Yeah, same for us. Most of our team will arrive on Wednesday. We'll just have a good day or like rest of the day, and then Thursday enjoy the surroundings. I really want to go to a casino just for once to see how that is. And then after GC, we'll head over to San Francisco and have a week of holiday there.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Vegas is a crazy place for a European. It's very out there. it's
Yeah.
it's so different from anything else I've ever experienced in my life. Uh, in a weird way, I have to say. I guess it's the most extreme version of America I've interacted with. Now, what are your hopes for actual results at the Galactics then?
I don't necessarily expect to have any great results from Galactics. I haven't qualified, so I haven't got the points for the second day. So I'm just looking forward to just going and enjoying all the events that are going on. So I'm not necessarily looking for great results. It's more just enjoying being there.
My
You are
goal would be to be day 2 of the main event. I've qualified for the main event, but I don't really have a deck yet. I have like a wild brew of mine, but not sure if it's competitive enough. But it would be really great to make day 2. But ever since Sabine rotated out or over already a little before, I'm struggling to find my new identity.
Yeah.
kind
I
of.
think a lot of people have been struggling throughout all of law, and now going into Ashes, it's really getting serious to get something together for Galactics. Is that a pressure you solve together with the team, or is it more on your own? You're trying to tackle this.
No, we're trying to solve this as a team. We're testing a lot. We wanted to bring a team deck, but we didn't find a deck that we were all really fond of and like the play style, because we have very different play styles in our team. Um, so yeah, we still have like 2.5 weeks, I think.
I
Yeah.
The
know.
goal would be to have a deck by the end of the week and log in and prep the matchups. But yeah, let's see how it goes.
Yeah, it's getting very close. I don't think any of us have got decks sorted either at this point. So hopefully
Yeah.
soon.
Working on it. Yeah. Um, we were talking about how casual play is probably important to bring more people into the community, but I feel that competitive play is important for those of us that are already in the community. It's the main way I interact with the field, at least. So we have a brand new season coming up. Do you have any hopes or wishes for this upcoming season after Galactics?
To qualify for next GC and not have to like struggle until the end to getting points. So it would be great to have the whole team qualified pretty soon and then just enjoy the rest of the tournament without too much of pressure.
Yeah, I think that's the same for our team, really. To have more PQ wins and things on the team, more top eights.
Yeah. Looking back at the season that was, though, are there any moments that stand out to you? Any competitions or just single games or something that you feel uh, kind of this is what my strongest memory from season one?
Yeah, for me it's Bilbao regional. I started in round 2 with a loss, and I was like, okay, that's not going to work. I can just relax now and play my games. And then I won all the matches further until I lost against a Nightbreed who won the regional. So I was, what was it at the end? Like 11-2 or something. And I just missed top 8 because of tiebreakers. But that experience was insane. It was going perfectly. I drew the cards I needed. I had bad matchups, but either I drew the cards that I needed, or my opponents did not draw their cards. It just felt like, yeah, this is the deck, and I'm in sync with the deck. Yeah, the heart of the cards was with me that day, so that was really cool to see. Like I played Sabine for 1.5 years, even more, and I just knew the deck inside and out, and seeing that work out at a big event was really great.
Yeah, a lot of people were counting out Sabine by that time, but I know you and French friend of mine Camino did really well with Sabine in that tournament. Is there anything that could ever be that good again?
Good question. Let me know if you have an answer. I would like to play the deck. No, I think playing a deck a lot of the time, knowing it inside and out, helps a lot. So I was definitely a better player while playing Sabine than I am now, with just not knowing the lines as good as previously. So yes,
But you
I think that's something that I can recommend new players to also find a deck of the play style they like and just learn it and play it often. And even if the meta is not favored, if you know the deck, it can still work.
you did really well in Prague as well with the sealed event, really, wasn't it?
No, not that
Was
well. I
it the
think
premier one?
no, I meant missed day 2 in both events.
Oh, you did.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, that was not my event, Prague, but it was a lot of fun playing.
all right. Yeah. How about you, Becca? Is there anything particular that comes to mind as a strong memory from the season that's been?
Oh, okay. I don't think I can think of anything specifically. I've had a few good matches, but I feel like I was playing Vader Yellow. Vader Yellow is my main deck, and I feel like that's not. It doesn't feel as strong as what it used to. So I didn't take that to the sector in London. I think that was a bit of a mistake.
Apparently.
Because then, yeah, Arthur then won. So I was so happy that Vader Yellow won, though. Um, So no, not anything specifically, because I feel like Vader Yellow didn't feels as strong to me. So I feel like I've been looking for a new deck for a while now. I did try Yularen Red, but it's not. I don't think that's the deck for me still. So I'm still looking around.
I think one event or one thing I want to mention is also the community events. I think those are really, really important for the game as well. A shout out to our guys from Nexus. It was great to be at their invitational. I'm hoping to see lots of different players from other teams at the 2 months invitational coming up in autumn. I think those events are also really great, where it is competitive, but it's also or even more about the community and getting together and yeah, being there as as a bigger team, like not from other countries as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100% agree. I had such a great time at the Nexus Invitational, and I think those kinds of events are really important, like you say. And it feels like even FFG is acknowledging that a little bit with their new structure, and being able to grant some more prize support and points even for larger events that are community driven. I really appreciate that. I feel like we are we're still trying to find out whether or not we can get points in the mix for the Malmö Game Week. That is the next big community-driven event in Sweden, but we just don't know yet. But we have almost sold out the tickets already, so it
That's
is.
amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
it's really working out well for us this time. So I hope this kind of community-driven events are something that keeps going and gets stronger. It feels like it involves the community in another way.
I was speaking to my partner earlier, and we were saying it was kind of like the franchise stores are not as accommodating as the independently owned stores. We feel when it comes to women, independently owned stores seem to be a lot more focused on keeping it clean, keeping the environment like quite friendly. As sometimes with the bigger chain kind of stores, there's just a bit of downfall in those areas.
So you're getting into kind of my next topic here, which is what the barriers to entry is. Because if we look at the community, it is overwhelmingly male.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Even Magic has come further when it comes to some kind of equality, and that's not where we want to be, you know. What barriers to entry did you feel, you guys, when you first came in, and which ones do you still observe, and are a problem maybe for recruiting women as players?
Personally, I felt really welcome to Star Wars Unlimited from the beginning. But I already knew like gaming communities from esports during my Hearthstone times. So I think there was not that big of a hurdle for me for Star Wars Unlimited. But I remember when I started getting into esports with Hearthstone, like getting into a completely like male dominated field, not knowing like how does esports work, like how does the community how is the community, how do you like sign up for tournaments, how does like, well, there's no weekly play, but that would be a question from my side, like how does weekly play work, and there's so many different products and cards and yeah, a lot of questions that you need someone kind of to introduce you to it, to get a basic understanding, I think.
I feel like there's quite a bit of stigma around card games. So I don't know if that's different everywhere else, but um, I feel like sometimes people think it can be quite nerdy, or people aren't very hygienic that go to these places. But I honestly feel like I've not really felt that in this community. It very rarely do I ever feel like there's any problem with anything like that. So I think it's just breaking down that stigma about card games, because I used to feel like that before I played. So I know what people's perspectives are on it, but I just feel like you have to go, you have to try, go to your local store, meet people, um, and then you'll enjoy it.
I mean, those are things that are quite enough general to card gaming
Yeah.
as a whole, and sometimes even to gaming. But it seems that some games have come further than Star Wars Unlimited has at this point, especially if we look to completely different kinds of gaming, such as role playing and some board gaming. Are there anything specific to Star Wars Unlimited that you felt when you started taking part in the community or going to events?
There was no barriers. I didn't feel like Jesse said. I kind of felt welcome from the start, really, and I've never felt intimidated or anything like that at any events. I've always felt like there's a good community spirit at all the events.
Is it a lack of communication then? Are we bad at showing ourselves for what we are?
I don't think so. I think FFG and Asmodee and I think all overall communities really try to show the women that we have in the community. I get asked to be on stream often. I always refuse. Maybe I need to start playing on stream just to show other women there are women in the community. But I always get scared playing on stream. But I think one big factor might be that people usually get into hobbies because of friends or
Yeah.
like other friends that are playing, and there are just not that many women that are playing card games. So more guys bring in more guys, and women maybe get in because of their partner, because a female friend is playing card games, but it's way harder. And maybe also like how you get raised. Like I got raised with playing a lots of card games and board games with my family. I had my Game Boy where I have played against my sister. So there's always been this gaming and competitiveness in my youth, and I'm not sure if that's the case for everyone or like even most people.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I feel like every woman that I know that's playing Star Wars at the moment has come into Star Wars through their partner. So I think Star Wars is predominantly got a male fan base. And like even both me and Jesse, we said we're not really big Star Wars fans. Maybe if it wasn't for Eduardo and my partner Sam, we probably wouldn't have come across Star Wars. So it's just trying to reach people that aren't necessarily Star Wars fans as well. I wouldn't say many women I know are fans of Star Wars.
Yeah, I think George Lucas didn't do us any favor in that department with, active female roles being quite limited in his 6 original films. Now, I feel that FFG is certainly trying to be inclusive in their endeavor. When you look at how they design both their staff team as well as the actual card game, it feels like they're sensitive to many issues that could be a barrier for inclusivity. Um, but if we look at the culture, are we an insular culture in some way? Is it hard to get into this if you don't already know someone, do you think?
I think so. I think it could be probably quite intimidating for anyone entering any game to go to a game store on their own to join in with something new. Um, But then I think maybe it's good for stores to advertise on social media, make it seem inclusive, let people like scope it out before they go for the first time, so they can kind of see what they're getting into. But I think a lot of stores are doing quite well with that, even with discords and things, trying to unite people through the discords to meet at stores. So I do think joining any game without someone originally, that is quite intimidating. It's probably not something I would have done personally.
No, I think trading card games in general look very complex from the outside
Yeah.
because of the rules and cards, formats, like deck building, and there's a lot of specific vocabulary, I think. And if you walk into a store and you don't know any of that, and everyone is talking in a different language, I think that's not easy maybe you can feel can feel hard to ask like basic questions.
So you, Jesse, Celine, you have a good behind the scenes knowledge of running a game store that is card focused. Is there anything that you feel that you guys are doing that would maybe bridge the gap a little bit? Or do you have any ideas that you guys are working on?
I think it's always about making new players feel welcome. It doesn't matter what gender they have. So making them welcome, include them, show them like decks, maybe give them a deck of your own to play with, and it's just making them feel welcome. I think is the most important part. Letting them know that there are no stupid questions. They can always ask someone of the community. Um, yeah, I think that's a huge part. We just got new players that tried the game at a convention that Two Moons was at. Edu was really hyped about showing the game, and they told us, well, Edu was so hyped. He had such a passion for the game that really convinced him to give it a try. So yeah, I think that's also a huge part in bringing in new players,
To
showing them
active,
our love for the game.
we need to be more active in recruiting, maybe.
Yeah, also if someone is looking at Star Wars product, maybe talk about, hey, do you already know the game? Do you have questions about it? Even if we're not like store owners or partners of store owners, just as a community, like approach people that might be interested in getting into the game.
Mm. As a female player, do you ever encounter any cultural issues, something that doesn't sit well or feel good in the community or within the gaming spaces?
Not within the community, no. I've had some like experiences with online games where there is toxic behavior for sure. There are games that have a really toxic environment, and I think maybe also this, if you see this online, if you see videos of people just acting out, that can make you be more afraid of joining a game. I'm not sure if this online game presence is also having influence on trading card games, but I could imagine that.
Yeah, I
Is there
wouldn't
any?
say that there's been anything negative, not within the people or the community. Like I said, it's just sometimes the environment, maybe, just making sure things like are clean. Um, I know other women can feel like that as well, so that's the only thing I can think of.
I mean, as a male player, I like it when it's clean in the stores, and some of the stores you go to, they aren't very nice, and it's
Yeah,
kind of a part of the, it's there. I don't like it, but it's there, and it's so nice when you get to these stores that really put in the effort to keep the gaming space tidy and nice and clean, and it just feels better to be in these spaces, and I feel that that's something that's become better and better over the years, but it's still sometimes an issue even for me, and I think if you're new, and that kind of amplifies the stereotypes and makes
yeah,
it
absolutely.
less appealing. Um, do you ever feel at bigger events that there's something that is sort of neglected or something that could be better thought through?
Not specifically anything due to gender or being female necessarily. I think there's always things at the big events that could improve, but not for inclusivity reasons, really.
That's not the issue.
Yeah, I don't feel like that's the issue.
No, I can agree. I don't think that's an issue, and yeah.
So, how do we reach out to more female players? Well, let's brainstorm. What can we do better as a community? Because of course the stores can do what they can do, maybe, and FFG, Asmodee, they might have some things they could do. But what could we as a community participate and do better to reach new groups of players?
I really don't know because I feel like it's just hard sometimes just to attract women into, like I said, people. There's a lot of stigma. People feel like it's quite nerdy. Um, so I think it's really hard to bring women in, um, unless it's more advertised about being about the community sometimes rather than the game. I think that would bring people in. Um, all our friends currently in our life all play Star Wars Unlimited. That is like our whole circle of friends right now. So I think if we could advertise the community a bit more than the game and see that it's not just a game. This is you hanging out with friends.
Yeah, I agree. And maybe it's also a lot of focuses on competitive play and not so much on casual play. And maybe casual play is, it's easier to get into because if you're already thinking about like competing against other players, that's just a step ahead already. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's something our local store struggle with because there's quite a competitive scene, and then they feel that when new people come, they kind of feel like, oh, it's a bit too competitive, and they don't come back. So I know our local store is really trying to do a lot more Twin Suns events and just more accessible, or we'll have events where you only play with common cards, just making it easier for newer people to come in. So it's not just we're testing for the next planetary qualifier or sector or something like that.
You talked about conventions, Celine. Do you feel that, have you been part of that, or just heard or seen about it?
I've been part of during my esports scene, but not now with 2 Moons. But I was just about to mention that, like maybe it's also about like women being present at conventions where card games or games in general are represented or shown, and then actively talk to other women, and then we as women can bring in some others, just to try the game, and also maybe talking to a whole group of women so they can learn it together, so not just by their own,
Yeah,
by themselves. Yeah,
By themselves. I think it's really a hard topic to find answers to. I don't expect that we will just solve the issue here, but is there anything, like, if you look at your experience in Star Wars Unlimited, is there anything that you feel is even, a positive? Are there any upside to being a woman in SWU?
you don't have to wait for the toilet. There's no lines in front of the toilet like at other events. But
yeah,
yeah,
that's
not really.
true.
That was a big thing.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, besides from that, I think since we're not that many women, I think we'll get treated like well.
Yeah,
Not specifically just because we're women, but I think the community wants to make sure the women that we have in Star Wars stay in the game.
yeah, I can agree with that.
You don't feel singled out.
No,
No,
exactly.
never.
No. That's very good. Well, to try and round this out a little bit, what do you feel would be your parting words of wisdom for people out there? What do you think you want to? What message do you want to give to maybe new women that wants to get into the game, or wants maybe someone has a friend that they're trying to persuade to try the game? What can we do? What can we say to them?
I think my main message would be for women who are interested in Star Wars. It is worth trying. You do not have to know everything from the beginning. Everyone was new at some point, and the community is really welcoming. You just have to ask or be there and be asked. And if going alone to an event feels intimidating, bring a friend along for the first time, or contact maybe the store or someone from the community. Reach out to them personally, and they'll let you know what is important to start with.
Yeah, I think just definitely don't be nervous and just give it a try. Because it could open a whole new group of friends, a whole new community for you. So it's definitely worth doing.
All right. Thank you so much for taking part in this episode. I had a good time. I hope you did as well.
Yes, thank you.
All right. With that, I say, may the force be with you.